I am dead. I have not passed away. I have not passed on. I most certainly do not want anyone ever to use the most awful locution of all, he has passed.
Oh, yeah.
No, I've not. I'm dead. Like the parrot. Please, if you have condolences you wish to share, do so in person, or at least over the phone. If you have any respect, please don't send your condolences via text. Be brave, reach out in real time. Make a real connection, whatever the risk that there may be pain, whether for you or the person you seek to console. Do not sit safely behind the text message barge pole and think that will do. Not that it matters to me, I'm dead.
So your vocal line is our rhythm.
Yeah.
So
I might do it a bit like that to connect to what
yeah, so the rhythm of it all will work. Try that introduction drum part again.
Welcome back. Welcome to our table at Beyond Survival. This is a space where we have conversations with artists, thinkers, philosophical types and intentional souls. Geraldine, your host. This is Kelli, my co-host. In the background we have our producer, Stephanie Davis. And we would like to welcome back to our table Stuart Reid.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do you want to tell the viewers what that topic is?
Well, the topic is death, which sounds like, oh my God, you know, they're all reaching to turn off already. But honestly, I think we can have quite an enjoyable conversation about that topic.
I agree.
I don't think it needs to be too dire. It's something that really came up for me for two reasons: contrariness and perversity. Nobody wants to talk about death, so I do. But the other thing is, when we were speaking before, what I came along intending to speak about really was thinking about how we think, which led me to think, what am I thinking about? And then it came to me, one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about lately is death. I've reached an age where there's less in front of me than there is behind. You know, I'm 72 years old.
Yeah.
In fact, hope will come up later in the conversation. People have died that I was reminded of around that time when we came up with the topic. The other thing was that it's a recurring thought for me, because we have a strange thing in our family where we're all born on or died on important days. My birthday is Christmas Day. My sister was born on the 29th of February, so my brother missed out by a day in being born on Hogmanay, which is the big night of the year in Scotland, the New Year's Eve. It was the 30th of December. So then my dad died on my sister's birthday, the 29th of February. And then my mother died at dawn on Anzac Day here in Australia. Sandra, my partner, her father died on Australia Day.
Well,
Even my daughter has to put up with having her birthday on Father's Day. My brother has end-stage kidney disease at the moment. Health is a big issue there. And so I was thinking a lot about this in the lead up to Easter. But the surprise was, the call came through on Thursday before Easter. This is Sandra's mother, 94, nearly 95-year-old woman. She's been living in a nursing home for a few years now. But she'd taken a sudden turn for the worse, and they said to come in. And we did. We went in, and we just weren't quite quick enough. She was an extraordinary woman. I'd like to just say a little bit about her, if I may. Can I tell you about Phyllis?
Yeah.
So Phyllis was born before the Second World War, here in Perth, fourth of four girls. And during the war, some kids were evacuated to the country because they were worried about bombing and cities and all that.
because also the HMS Sydney had gone down Western Australian waters. So
It was. And so she was put in the sidecar of her uncle's motorbike and driven off. It must have terrified her, because when she came back, she had a terrible stutter. And she had that all through her childhood. Her husband died when he was 39. Sandra was only 14. And she had to look after the four girls and run the business with this terrible stutter. That's when I first met her, in the mid-70s. And she couldn't even get out a word of greeting. She did have a welcoming smile, though. She went along and did some speech therapy at St John's Hospital with the speech therapist there. And they decided to set up an association, Speakeasy Association. And they developed this smooth speech technique where she learnt to speak. Initially, very difficult. Like, it was really very slow. Yeah. And then, but it would be smooth. It would be very, and then you'd speed it up, and you'd gradually get speed. But you had to practice it all the time. But she was then able to communicate, and it transformed her life. She got involved in all sorts of things after that.
how old was she by that time?
She would have been in her 40s.
So it took a tremendous amount of time from the shock that she had.
All that life.
Gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Basically had to retrain how to speak.
How to speak.
Yeah.
And so she She got involved with the School for Seniors as well. She was, right up until her 80s, she was 82, she was teaching boot scooting at the School for Seniors and writing poetry and skits for them to perform when they went away down to Albany and stuff like that. She really came out of her shell. Still had the stutter, but not as bad. And when she practiced for the speech, she could get it better and better.
Did she, just out of curiosity, did she always love dance?
Yeah,
Being someone who went too big.
She used to make the dance costumes for the girls, and they were in the Shirley Halliday dance and all that stuff, you know. Yeah, so she was going really well into her 80s, and then she got viral encephalitis, which is a virus like comes from like shingles does. It comes from the chickenpox virus or herpes virus, I forget which, and it attacked her brain, and it just wiped out a whole section of her. She ended up, we got her to the hospital, and within hours she was in a coma. And it took weeks for her to come out of the coma. And when she came out of the coma, she had to learn to speak again. She had no memory of anything that went before, of her life before. But she learned to speak again, and she learned to speak without a stutter.
Wow.
She didn't have a stutter.
Wow.
Being reborn.
It's like being reborn.
Like a
She
whole
would
second
refer
life.
to the other Phyllis. She didn't identify with the person who had. So eventually, she could make new memories, and she did. She got to know who her family were and all that sort of stuff. And after a few months, I think, she was able to go back into her own home. And the occupational therapist did an amazing job. Taught her how to cook, how to look after herself, do the washing, all that sort of stuff. And she lived independently then for 5 years after that. But she would always talk about, I don't know about that Phyllis. She had so many shoes. What was she doing with so many shoes? Things like that.
Yeah.
She had a
small
personality change, but
Not much.
dramatic.
No, the personality change was different.
Well,
But the
obviously,
welcoming thing,
do you
the
think
fact that you walk in the room and she'd smile
Yes.
backstage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think in those circumstances we often revert to the things that we perhaps were quiet about but went on in our heads? Like the fact that she's noticing those details and then speaking them out loud. Maybe she always noticed those details, but you've got a bit of a veil. You've got that diplomacy veil that you go, I'm not going to say that, but I thought it, sort of thing.
I don't know, that may be a thing, but I think it was just that the memory part of her brain was wiped. And the scans will show it where the virus actually caused the physical damage to the brain. And the plasticity of the brain is so amazing that you can use other parts of the brain to develop new stuff. And she did. But after a while, she was getting more frail, and long story short, she went into the nursing home about 8 years ago. And she loved it there. She got on well. She would help the staff look after these old ladies. You know? But she didn't identify with being an old lady.
Yeah.
And so she'd do that. But then she had another stroke at one stage, and they got her back from the hospital, and she was just non-responsive, couldn't swallow. So when they tried to feed her, she couldn't eat. And we came to rush to the nursing home that afternoon, and they told us what was going on. We said, Sandra said, have you tried again to feed her? Oh, no. They had the palliative care sign up on the wall. I said, well, try her with some juice. She got the juice, and she went, down it went. She had her eyes closed, and everything. As soon as the straw went, and down it went. Oh, maybe we should try it with some soup. Try with soup. Down it went too. Would you, Phyllis, would you like some yogurt for dessert? The little nod came.
Yeah.
Within a few days, she was back up with her little trolley thing, chugging down the corridor. Thursday, day before Easter, and she died. And so that meant, of course, we organised a funeral. She had been to my mother's funeral, and I managed that whole funeral. We didn't have funeral directors. I got a permit to be a funeral director for the day.
Oh, didn't know
Yeah.
about
It's the only way you could buy a coffin, in fact, was to have a permit
that.
to get the coffin. She said, can you be the MC at my funeral? So I did. And it was a real privilege to be able to do that. Funerals, I think, are for the living. They're for the people who are left
100%,
behind. One of her daughters, Karen McKnight, did the eulogy, and that was beautiful. She told funny stories. And Fleetwood Mac, Songbird.
I love that song.
Yeah. For you there'll be no more crying. For you the sun will be shining, because I feel that when I'm with you, it's all right. I know it's right. And I wish you all the love in the world, but most of all, I wish it from myself. And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. Fleetwood, of course, another landslide, but time makes you bolder. Even children get older, and I'm getting older. There had to be a country song.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the country song was Traveller, Chris Stapleton. I see the sunrise creeping in, everything changes like the desert wind. Here she comes and then she's gone again, and I'm just a traveller on this earth. Sure as my heart's behind the pocket in my shirt, I'll just keep rolling till I'm in the dirt, because I'm a traveller. Oh, I'm a traveller. I couldn't tell you, honey, I don't know where I'm going, but I've got to go.
I love music, and I was thinking, I think of myself as a reflective person, but in actual fact, for my funeral, I would like people to have a party. And so for me, it would be some party music. And high on my list would be Bjork's.
Oh, nice.
Because I do love Bjork.
Yeah, me too.
And I think because she's one out of the box, as well as she's a super creative, and I rate her highly. But I also just love, that song starts with clarinet, which I play, and I love clarinet. So the intro of clarinet and her starting, it's very quiet, and I feel like it's an analogy to life, in that we do have these undulations, these moments where things are just going along, things are a little bit quiet, and then suddenly the big band comes out and you're in love, or you've got that new job, or something dramatic's happened, your life's taken a turn. So I just find that song Oh So Quiet just so pertinent. I relate a lot to that song. I play it every now and then and love dancing to it as well. It's a lot of fun. And I'd like it if people did have fun. I know that dying isn't necessarily a fun thing, and sure, depending, you can die in funny ways, but it's still not a fun thing, because you're gone, aren't you? And the other, I do love classical music, so there would be classical music, but I couldn't choose right now what classical music, because I don't want to have to choose out of the incredible array of classical music, but classical music would be there.
My mother had the classical music for the coffin coming in, but it was the theme tune to Philip Adams' Late Night Live.
Oh,
It was a Bach piece,
yeah.
but the association was not with Bach, it was with her favourite
Douglas
radio program.
Adams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not Adams, Philip Adams.
Oh, Philip Adams,
Philip
yes.
Adams, yeah.
Well, Douglas Adams was amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other artist that I love is Suzanne Stevens. Who's an American singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist, and I absolutely love, there's a few of his songs that I really love, but it's the most incredible. It's called Mystery of Love, or Call Me By Your Name, which is the movie that the music was made in. And it starts with strings, and it's just the most beautiful piece of music. So I'd love for people to contemplate a beautiful piece of music, basically. Yeah. So thanks for that opportunity to revisit what I love, and
make sure you write them down and
yeah.
have them on the record.
I couldn't think of a second song except for one of Elkbell's songs.
Yeah.
Which
We
was
don't
Sway.
Oh, Sway, of course. Yeah.
Only because everybody
beautiful,
assumes it's a song about dance, but it's about a song about dance with life. So that's why I like that one so much. And she's a local singer-songwriter.
It says a lot about you, Kelly, because you really are super supportive of creatives as well as being a creative.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, definitely.
Can
Can I confirm that?
Not necessarily. I think I always feel like it's not enough, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking for this part of my life to be more, to be able to do more. Hence why we're here today, guys.
Actually, I was telling Stuart earlier, also an executor for my auntie who's not passed away, and we had quite a bit of fun putting music together, and I learnt a lot about her. So I had to put it into the vault, basically, of what happens when she's not here. But I was absolutely amazed that I can't think of all of it. But she did put rock and roll and classical and some incredible combinations. But it was a long list, so I said it's obviously going to have to be edited before we go, because we're not going to be able to, unless we just put it on the playlist
On a random.
Yeah, and I think that you do learn a lot about people by choice, although it's obviously your family choice as well. Yeah.
The truth is, we are in that frame of being older, all of us, in this, even Steph. Yeah, young Stephanie and young Geraldine compared to you and I. That is what happens, is it not? Like, that's part of life. I think that as birth and living life is part of life. I don't know how you felt.
It is a way to connect with the person who has died again as well, because you're thinking what would be relevant to their life and what would be, not just what would they like, but what will resonate for the people who are left behind, the people who are in the room at the time, and have recognition coming from them to say, oh, yes, that's Phyllis, or yes, that's the person.
But it's also that instant nostalgia that you feel that normally you have to wait till grief passed before you can reflect and do nostalgia. I found that in that process of being part of the organising, I was already being nostalgic, and because you're remembering things, because you're looking at photos or you're listening to music, and did you have that same experience?
Yeah, I did. It's also, I think, part of a way of processing the grief too. You feel like
more efficiently,
useful.
I felt.
Yes, being useful, and not just wallowing in grief.
Yeah, because I've had that experience too with others that I was on the sideline or had very little involvement with, and I was noting the difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know, neither way is right or wrong, this just is, but I was quite surprised at the significant change in the way you grieve just by those small things.
Yeah. I've, over the years, given a bit of thought to my playlist, but it's usually late at night when I'm hanging out with one of my mates and he's playing music for me, and I think, oh yeah, I must have that one for my playlist when I go, and then I've forgotten them.
Oh,
but there are a couple that I do remember. The two key ones, I guess, for me are Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, the Nina Simone, or even the Animals, or both.
Do you want that on the gravestone?
So
Don't
it's,
let me be misunderstood.
yes, I'm just a soul whose
Great
intentions
song.
are good. Please don't let me be misunderstood. It's just the message. And the other one is Working Class Hero, because that's something I've always wanted to be, and I never really was. I was never a union leader.
I seem to remember you having substantial moments in your career where you were giving quite substantially to humanity in some format.
Representing.
You are a community man at heart, was the thought I had in the moment.
Yes.
And you get some people who work in public service and are not necessarily community minded, and then you get those like yourself. And I think I said this to you last time, you have to honour that within yourself, because it's not everybody is like that, Stuart.
I do want to have one in the mix that's for the people who need to cry, because I hope there'll be some who feel like they want to cry, and that's it's got to be Marianne Faithfull's As Tears Go By. That's where they can just let it all out and really go for a big cry.
It does give people time to contemplate.
There's a couple of Bowie ones that I quite like, Golden Years, and his version of Where Have All the Good Times Gone from Pinups. That's quite good. But I don't know about those ones, they just come to mind. The other one that would have to be in there, just to really give the whole thing some punch, is Iggy Pop and Lust for Life. Lust for Life, I'd go for that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like all the songs that you're mentioning, even for your mother-in-law as well as your own choices, I would say ones that most people would recognise. Is there some thought behind that?
Some
for
practicality, remember we were talking
yes,
about.
well that's right, there's a practical
Yes.
issue associated with this, which I discovered if you do choose something that's a bit more obscure, the funeral directors may not have access to it to put into the mix, because
But
they
you can provide.
pay for license. There's a license for public broadcast, for public
they do.
for
That's
public use, and so it gets a bit more complicated if you've got something that they haven't got.
No, the two songs that I would choose, I know the singer-songwriters, so.
Yes.
Mm.
But it's interesting because I didn't even, that was where I went straight away.
We're talking about funerals, and we're talking about life leading up to and that sort of thing. We haven't really talked about death.
Mm.
You know?
I'm good with death.
Yeah. Doesn't. I mean, for me, there's not really much to say about death, because there is life, and then you die, and after you've died, there is no more, unless you want to talk about rotting corpses and things like that, which I don't really want to go into today.
No.
I don't think there's any need
No.
for us to explore all that side of
No.
it.
Steph
But-
might have a few words on that, but anyway.
Because that's her like,
No.
in her special effects that she does.
Not
That's
real
her
bodies.
main genre.
Okay.
Because what are zombies and
Well, I work
death and
with-
horror movies?
I work in film and I do special effects makeup, so I practically kill people for a living. Yeah.
But she would be able to recreate it. We
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
contemplate the real thing.
But I guess what I'm saying though is that for me, life is life, and when it ends, it is end. That's it. It is all.
You don't believe that
There's
there's
no
anything after?
no
death?
life after death stuff. Complete nonsense. Cannot get there at all in my head. For me, all of the beliefs, the religious and spiritual beliefs around that, have arisen out of the history of trying to keep people behaving themselves.
I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of truth in that too, but it doesn't mean that life after death doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. I've had experiences of things that I think, ooh. Like my mother, she was just in shock after my father died. And a couple of weeks later, she had this experience where she woke up and there he was at the foot of the bed. And he just was there for a moment to say, it's all right, don't worry, everything's all right. And from then on, she was fine. That was
So
it.
do
She was
you
over
think
it.
that came more from her mind than her spirit?
Yeah. When she died, we had the funeral, the wake, and then went out for the night. And I came home, I'm lying in bed, and Sandra's asleep, and these colours started to come into the room. The whole room filled with different shades of colour, outlined with deeper colour. So it was like pastel shades were surrounding, and that colour went right through my whole body. I could feel the colour going through my whole body. And my mother's voice from to the side, she said, I just wanted to let you know. And I turned, and it all was...
Just wanted to
She
let you know
reached
that,
out.
that she was
There.
alive on the other
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
still. Okay, so then my next question to
It's
you,
in my head.
Is it though?
I think
because you had an emotional experience with it,
oh,
you
absolutely.
physically saw colour.
Yes.
So what circumstance or what experience would change your mind to, okay, nothing is after death?
Look, I'm open to the possibility. It might be, but I don't think there is. Really, I'm very, very skeptical. I think that it's really something that happens within your brain as a coping mechanism to help you deal with the fact that you've lost people.
What about near death experiences?
I don't know anything about them.
I've had 3.
Yeah. But again, I've had one. I've had one with the tunnel of light thing.
And you still don't think there's any life after?
No, I was quite conscious of that's that tunnel of light thing. I wonder what's down there, and I'm going along, but I'm keeping my options open. And then a woman tapped me on the shoulder, and
Came back.
Came back.
Oh, what led to that? That must have been an extreme situation.
Well,
For you to be for your brain to be going there.
I like the way that
Yeah.
you said you're keeping your options.
I
I think
just
that's
should.
it's really interesting to think that you're going towards a tunnel of light
Yeah.
and you're conscious that you're keeping your options open.
Yeah.
Well,
I could always turn around and
Go back.
Yeah, I don't think I was actually dying.
There's a scientific explanation for the tunnel of light, but that doesn't mean that there's a
I didn't have no
holistic
tunnels of light. I
or-
was disappointed I had no
Yeah.
tunnels of light.
Uh,
I was just all very
you just went somewhere.
pragmatic, yeah. It was very like, I left my body, saw my body, and then I went really quickly, and I knew straight away that where I had where my spirit had gone was to my own consciousness. And then I had someone chatting to me saying, you can stay or go. The choice is yours. And I said, I'm not in. I'm staying. Straight back in the body. And then, but I actually physically died at the roadside. Like we were in the middle of nowhere. And then I've had 2 more experiences after that reconfirmed it. I was a skeptic about many things as well. Especially I do agree with you about the religion stuff. I think people use religion as a place to hang their responsibility rather than take responsibility for their own lives and stories. But I'm going to push back on the life after death. I'm pretty damn sure we exist after this physical experience.
Yeah.
That's been my personal... What would it take? Let me ask you this question. What would it take for you to say you're open? What experience would you need for you to believe that this is not the end? That when you leave this physical body, there is your spirit or some part of you that continues to exist?
Well, it's quite simple. I'd have to die.
Come on. What I'm talking about, you're in your body, but what would it take?
Because I have a view of the capacity of the brain to do all manner of amazing things. The range of experiences associated with hallucinogenic drugs, for example, can cause things that are very similar to what you describe as near.
What if that is just the drugs opening the gateway, that we block it? And
yes,
our sort of
that may be the case. Or it may just be that it's jumbling up the pathways that are...
Or the brain's not separate to the spirit.
Indeed.
And there's
That
no
might be all
conclusive evidence of where the mind actually exists. Yeah.
That goes back to what we were talking
Well,
about.
this
thinking.
consciousness.
Yeah.
Where does consciousness exist?
Yes.
Yeah.
But just to come back to the religious side of things, for example, you look at some religions where you live a good life so that you'll come back as a higher status person or a higher caste, or you look at
Or
you
you go
might
the
do
other way.
badly and go the other way, come out there.
Yeah.
Or you become enlightened and come back as a more enlightened. But the Christian side of it, with heaven and hell, I think is probably the
Just
classic
man-made.
example of that. Where if you're a perfect person, you'll go to heaven. If you're evil, you'll go to hell.
And that's just religion,
Yeah.
wanting to maintain control over humanity,
Yeah,
really.
it is. I think it is. Can I tell a joke about heaven and hell?
Yeah.
Are we all right to do a joke?
Yeah. Joke away. I have no
Okay.
issue with death.
So this is a bit of an old joke. So it goes back to the time when Tiger Woods' infidelities were a bit more sort of recent. But and it's Pope Francis. So he's a lovely. Pope Francis and Tiger Woods both die on the same day. And Tiger Woods goes to heaven and the Pope goes to hell.
It's already
The
funny.
Pope is so furious about this. I have been a good man. I have tended the flock for Jesus and the Lord. And he gets onto the devil. He's just giving the devil heaps about this. He says, it's been a mistake. I should be up. Anyway, he drives the devil so mad that the devil gets on the hotline to St. Peter and he says, you got to do something about this guy. I'm supposed to be making his life hell, he's making mine hell, right? So please, can you do something about this? So St. Peter says, I'll have a word with the man upstairs. They decide, okay, they're going to swap. So on the stairway to heaven, up goes the Pope, and down comes Tiger Woods. And as they're passing, the Pope says, I am so much looking forward to going to see the Blessed Virgin. And Tiger Woods says, you should have been here yesterday.
We may keep that in,
You
or we
may
may
not.
edit that out. But at least we've had it.
I don't think we have to edit anything out because we're going to get flagged anyway. We'll just go right in and be as open as you like.
And there's obviously so many characters that you could transfer into those roles.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There's many Pope Francises and there's many Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
So I've also got some things I've written. One of the things that I do every morning, because I go to the cafe for coffee, they've got the newspaper there, I look at the death notices.
Do you wear your hat when you go and
I
have your
always wear
coffee?
my hat. Always.
And what
So
kind of hat is this, Stuart?
This is a Thomas Cook Bendigo a Bendigo crushable hat. So I've got, I read the death notices, and I think, what would I want in my death notice? I have written one to go on Facebook.
Okay.
Would you like to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. Stuart Reid is dead. Sorry if that's a bit blunt for you. I'm sure I could have softened the blow for you, but it's my blow, my life that's blown, and hopefully not yours, so get over it. I wrote this while still well, I don't need to say still alive, because I wanted to avoid being euphemized post-mortem. Eulogy by all means, if you feel the need or the desire. Euphemism, no. We hear a lot about respect for the dead. I don't think they need it, they're dead. But respect for the living, yes, give us more of that, please. But if you do want to pay respects, now that I'm dead, you can do so by respecting my wishes. Here they are, my death wishes. Please use the more accurate terms. I am dead. I have not passed away. I have not passed on. I most certainly do not want anyone ever to use the most awful locution of all, he has passed.
Oh, yeah.
No, I've not. I'm dead. Like the parrot. Please, if you have condolences you wish to share, do so in person, or at least over the phone. If you have any respect, please don't send your condolences via text. Be brave, reach out in real time. Make a real connection, whatever the risk that there may be pain, whether for you or the person you seek to console. Do not sit safely behind the text message barge pole and think that will do. Not that it matters to me, I'm dead. But if respect for me, dead me, or the live me you knew, is important to you, please respect these wishes. My other wish, I suppose you could call it my final wish, is that you all get together and have a really good time at my funeral and wake. I don't want any time limit on speeches, but giving one's not compulsory. The main thing is, it's a party. Party on, party animals.
Fine.
Party on.
When you're on the other side,
You need a B-side
you
to that
might
track
be
now.
able to just join that party in spirit.
So what's the B-side for party on, party animals?
Guardian devil.
Okay.
Because that's it says like the I've never heard what.
Yeah, so this is the guardian devil. You want to look after you when you go where you shouldn't go, do what you shouldn't do.
Oh, I have never heard
No,
that
I've never
term.
heard you. You have to
I
explain.
made
Is that
it
like a
up.
Scottish
Oh,
thing?
you made it
up.
up there.
I made it
Well, that makes it even more interesting.
No, it's one of my dashed off ditties.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
nice.
Guardian devil. It's one I actually performed in Hawaii.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to a poetry night in Hawaii, and they liked what I showed them, and they said, "Can you come along to this open mic night?"
Wonderful.
I went along to this open mic night at the pub, and there's 100 people in the audience, and there's a guy who's just come off a 40 stadium tour of the US, and he's doing a solo gig back at his home base where he first started out, and he's the local hero. And then there's a couple of rap guys come on, and then they get me with an electric guitar behind me. So there's a young kid with an electric guitar,
Yeah.
and I do Frankenstein's House Party and Guardian Devil. And by the end of it, he's just howling on this guitar, and I'm barking into the microphone, "Party on, party animals, party on!" That was, I'd love to see the video of that one.
What's the whole thing like? What is it? Just one? Like
The Guardian Devil.
Yeah, like what's the story? What's
Well,
the ditty?
Look, I didn't bring it with me. Yeah, it's a poem about when you
Kick the bucket.
when you go to do things that you shouldn't be doing, the Guardian Devil's there to look after you.
In life.
So it's a life. It's a life thing.
Mm.
And I
But what's the
basically
job
said
of the
that-
guardian devil?
Yeah,
Is it the opposite of a guardian angel?
yeah.
Do they egg
Guardian
you on? Do
angels,
they say
yeah, they egg you on.
No one's going
So the guardian devil.
Don't tell me I'm going to have to come back again.
do the job, finish it.
You can always just speak into a phone and send it to me, and I'll.
Yeah,
Put it in
yeah,
as
you
a
can add it- well, you can add it as a text.
Yeah, no, I can add it as just
I
film
could.
yourself
Sure.
saying
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can
Let's
just
do that.
add it in as a little extra. Yeah.
But these are usually ditties that I write when someone gives me a title, and I just write it down. The bands are all jamming and playing, and I'll just write this thing. The Guardian Devil's one, I think I came up with the title for that one myself.
I like that.
I like it too. I think it's quite clever. But one that I thought, because I went through looking for ones that were relevant to the topic today, Welcome Death.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure who gave me that title.
So
But
morbid
this is-
person
Yeah,
in the audience.
Well, maybe not.
Welcome Death.
Yeah.
Death comes but once a life, and never welcome when it comes, and never welcome till it comes. The pain of death is the pain of the end of life. The greater the life, the greater the pain. When you pass from existence, from one into none, the last passing moment that's passed in a moment. And most of the rest, a burning, glorifying haze of memory flashes by, and the pain is no more. Death comes but once a life, and never welcome till it comes.
Nice. Did you have to work on that a bit?
No, that's
Oh,
exactly as
just
it
came
was
out?
written down. That's exactly
Oh,
as
that's
it was written
brilliant.
down. This friend of mine, Vonnie is an extraordinary looking woman. She just looked like David Bowie. Vonnie gave me the title, The Neurotransmitters Stop Firing. And the irony of this is that just a few months later, they did for her. And she died.
Well,
And she was a young woman and everything, but I think it might be a brain tumor or something like that.
she just didn't know.
But she
maybe.
didn't know at the time, but she gave me this title, The Neurotransmitters Stop Firing.
Oh.
They've been on the blink for a while now, not always there when you wanted them, not working so well when they do. Messages intermittent, services shut down, the shutters go up. You don't know what you don't know. You think this is all there is, until one day, though you'll not know, the shutters will come down and you are no more. The neurotransmitters stopped firing and you're on your own.
It's very ominous.
Yeah, it's very ominous.
And then she on another level she knew something.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
That's that wonderful state of consciousness that we can't quite now.
I'll give you another one too while we're here.
Yeah.
This was Dilip gave me this title, The Beauty of Decay. I'm sick and tired of my friends dying. Too many too soon. They say only the good die young. It's not true. Liars, crooks and thieves are just as likely to die young, maybe more. Still, sad to see them gone. Then we look around with eyes on the living and the lines etched on faces and see that not all change is decay. That age brings wisdom that shows in the lines of the face. But even in decay, not all is rotten or rotting. As faculties go, personalities grow, sometimes in weird and wonderful ways, exaggerated characteristics now to the fore. Anything can happen. Beauty would blossom, wither on the vine. Love come to the fore or fade away. Hope against hope that it won't turn to hate. It's hope that's the answer. Hope for a better life. Hope for a better way. Hope for a better day. Hope that keeps us open to the beauty that's there and to imagine the beauty that's not. So here's to hope. 3 cheers for hope. It's the only hope for finding beauty in decay.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. And 3 cheers, actually. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Steffi, number 4. Hello.
So I think we were just contemplating this topic.
Mm.
I was thinking about death, as you do sometimes. I don't actually really think about death. But I was thinking that the fear of death, for me, anyway, is the fear of not living.
But I think
with
that's
respect.
morality more than the fear of
that's
death.
why I'm
I think morality is,
is
as you get older, you begin to, you actually begin to feel your own mortality. And you realise, oh gosh, have I done everything that I wanted to do?
I often come back to that. It's what are my intentions here? So that I kind of really realign myself. And I think that's part of it, is that realignment. But the other thing, thinking about death, is I don't want to have a painful death, but pain comes with life to a certain point. And so for me it's like not fear of death, it's actually fear of pain leading up to?
I'm afraid of dying.
Well,
I'm afraid of dying.
the dying that happens
Can I
beforehand.
actually interrupt and say something about that? Because when I was having Baylor, giving birth to Baylor, I thought I was going to die, and I was actually quite happy to go,
As long as you're
because I was
survived.
numb as fuck on drugs and didn't give a care in the world. And if this is how you feel when you are about to die, well then maybe there's a reason that you feel like that, because it's a way of surrendering and letting go. So you don't actually get all anxious and nervous and sad and depressed and blah blah blah, because you actually just let go.
And I just want to say something in response to that, what Steph just said then, going back to the near-death experiences I mentioned earlier. All I know is I physically died on the roadside. I don't know how long I was dead for, but I think it was probably about
And we
8
talked
minutes
about
or something,
this in
they said.
previous episodes.
I think it was like, we did. I think it's about 8 minutes or something, the docs worked out.
Wow.
But the thing was that even before I physically died, when the car started rolling, I put my hands up on the roof. Everything, just like they say it does, goes into slow motion. So I remembered every detail, and I remember putting my hands up in the car, and I remember that my first thought was, oh, we're having a car accident. Oh, I'm going to die. Oh, I hope I was a good person. But the most important part of that story is even just being in the body is uncomfortable. Even if you're not unwell, even if you're not going through something traumatic like cancer or whatever, and that's your pathway to death. You just being in the body, what I got in that moment is just being in the body, and when you switched in consciousness, whatever that is, that moment is, that where I recognised that, oh, okay, we're having a car accident, and everything's in slow motion, and we go, oh, okay, I'm going to die, hope I was a good person. There's nothing but peace. There's no discomfort in the body. I did not feel not one tiny bit of discomfort in the body. And remembering that they didn't find us for an hour and a half. So I'm on the roadside, slipping in and out of consciousness all the time after dying and then coming back into the body. And never once do I remember in the times the bits I remember, did I feel pain? Not once. And yet my body was completely busted up. And so that was where I lost any fear of death at all. I thought, oh, well, I don't know, but the body doesn't experience, you know what, it's more uncomfortable, more painful being in the body than it is being out of the body.
My view that life is all there is actually just as good for persuading you to live a good life as any of the religious or spiritual.
Why do we need some sort of prompting, whether it be religion or the fear of death or this is the only chance you've got, you might as well make the best of it? Shouldn't we just want that anyway, regardless of what the ending may be or what comes after death?
That's kind of what I mean.
I think that's more of a human
life,
thing.
There is life, and life is good. Now, whether your life or my life is good is neither here nor there. The issue is life itself is good, and
it's very
we
much
are
up to the
here.
individual.
I think if there's any purpose to life, it is to contribute to life, to nurture the planet, to nurture the things which give life, and to create life as well. Although that's not necessarily an essential part of it either.
No,
It can be, but I think contributing to the conditions of life, the conditions for the continuation of life, is really what life is about. In other words, life is like a self-perpetuating thing. Life is there to create life, to continue to nurture life. And that's why, for me, a good life is important. I don't know that I've managed to achieve it. I have probably done good things and I've done bad things.
Measuring everything.
You do your own review
Do
if you
your
like.
own.
That's mortality mixed in together. What does real success look like? Because success for one person might be, oh, I achieved this, I became a billionaire, and I think, depends on what you do with it. What have you done with it? And then someone else, this is why I love celebrating people who just quietly go about their business on a daily basis, because my experience of that is if you investigate or observe a little bit more, you'll find that person has done amazing things. Everybody has got a story to tell.
Well, that's what Phyllis's story. There's a person who, it's only when you really look back on her life, I mean, we lived, I knew her for 50 odd years.
Yeah.
And she was just my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
But it's when you sort of look at her life in context, you think, wow, what an amazing thing that she did what she did.
What she overcame.
And we're big here in the subject matter of Beyond Survival. Our mission is to celebrate those who are at the community level and who just get out there and continue working, and nobody would necessarily know who they are. Is their life any less successful than someone that we do know that invented something that everybody knows? No, absolutely not. I really believe in every individual, just their very presence has contributed, even if it's been not a good story, even through their eyes, they have still been here, they have still contributed to a life and to others around them, even if they're not conscious of that. But yeah, if we should wake up every morning and say, am I living my best life? I don't think it's a bad question to ask, but I also think that we have to understand that we have created this draconian kind of version of what success looks like, and it's a lie. Because I know so many people who are amazing people and done amazing things. You know what? They're just the person who lives next door.
Just to come back for a moment to the dying side of it. Have you done one of those things where you say what you want to happen if you become, what do they call it?
It's resuscitated. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've got it.
Right.
Do not resuscitate. I'm on.
You do not resuscitate, you as well?
No, I haven't actually. No.
Yeah.
I've donated my body parts if anyone wants to.
I did that after the second heart attack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I got to do something,
Yeah.
because I did not want to be, in that situation.
Well, I've done one, and it is heroic exercise of keeping me alive under any and all circumstances.
Oh, that's so
Live
the
as
opposite.
long as you can, under whatever conditions.
Oh no, yeah.
Pain, yeah, okay, I've had pain, I've
Yeah.
broken bones, and I've had
Depends
all
on
kinds
level of
things.
punctuality.
I want to experience every bit of life as long as I possibly can. If I could live
But what if you're
forever,
not
I would.
experiencing it by being kept away
Well, who's
alive
to
by
know,
artificial
who's to know
means?
whether I'm experiencing it?
Well, that's the question that we need to ask, maybe.
I want to speak into this.
Got my niece. She is diabetic, and she took an overdose, and she now is a vegetable. She can't move, she can't speak, she can't think. She basically just sits in a chair. And they had the choice of turning her off her life support system. This is her mother and her family, and they all decided to keep her alive. She's now 30, early 30s, and she's been like this for, I don't know, over 5 years now. No change, nothing. She just sits there all day, every day in her nursing home and doesn't do anything. But again, this is going back again for like funerals and keeping people, funerals are for the people that are there still alive. Was she kept alive just to keep everyone else happy? Or did they do it to keep her happy? Because I don't think
And she didn't have a choice.
She didn't have a
ultimately.
choice.
It's her family's
She didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Well, I have a choice, and
But you do have a choice.
documented
Yes.
what my choice is.
Yeah.
Yes, well that's true.
Me too.
And I'm going to have to live with it if
Yeah.
it comes to that.
Very
It's very difficult at
loudly.
the time, and I may not be able to change my mind, express a change of mind.
As long as you still
Nice.
have parties
Nice.
every year, we could just sit you in your chair and we could all just dance around you, and you could be there on your back porch,
Playing all your party
I
tunes.
love that idea.
And then,
I
yeah.
think that's
and
a
we
great
will all just
idea.
dance around you.
And even if you can't communicate, maybe your spirit is still dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very least, your consciousness.
Well, a good friend of mine's mum just passed away about 10 days ago, And it just reminds me, and her name's Nevenka, and love to Jude and her family, but Jude nursed her mum for probably 25 years.
Gosh.
In her home. Nevenka had a strange illness and went blind about 25 years ago.
Oh.
And I think really she's not been functioning much out of bed for the last 10 years. But she's absolutely relished every morsel of food, every conversation, everything that has happened around her. I've gone to see her a couple of times, and she's very responsive and very appreciative that people have visited, and big Croatian family. I'm from that sort of middle Swan Valley family, and they come and go, and Jude has nursed us. But coming back to the family, that Jude has literally been her nurse and turned her every second hour for quite a long time, and barely been able to go out. She has her certain days, and she has had a carer, but she's done the majority of the work, and there's some expectation, her own self-expectation as her daughter to do that. And it's a big undertaking that's obviously a conscious decision. And it's only recently that her mum, Jude, basically gave her the option. She said, her mum finally said, this is not a life, is it? Right up until that moment. And she passed away not too long after Jude basically said, yes, Mum, if you want to go, you can go, basically. So she did give her the permission. And I think she was very close to anyway, but yeah, it was...
So the same thing happened with that.
A huge undertaking for a family to care, and they obviously did that. It's not a joyous thing to care for someone who's bedridden in essence.
Yeah, there are moments of joy with that stuff.
Yeah, of course. That's right.
You get
family,
moments
the
of
caring,
lucidity and
exactly, yes,
yeah,
and conversations,
and that makes a difference.
And different, and yeah. And that's the other thing of I didn't have that opportunity. So my mum had a diagnosis and was gone within pretty much on 3 months, but it gave us 3 months to really
say goodbyes,
have that conversation. Not enough though. I still didn't get those opportunities to say all sorts of those conversations.
It's funny because that Dad was over a long period of time, and Mum was quick, like your mum. No, 2 months, and she was healthy up until that point. And then when she got diagnosed, it was like 2 months, and she was gone. But we all moved in to her house with her, including the grandkids. And so she had someone with her, and she said everything she wanted to say to everybody, and sorted everything that she hadn't sorted. That's what the 2 months I felt was for, was so that she had peace when she left. She was assured that she did everything and said everything that she wanted to before she left. Up to that moment, you would not know that she was ill. She only had fatigue, and she had lost a lot of weight. But that was it. She had no pain. She wasn't on any machine. She wasn't all these things. With Dad, it was the opposite, and with Dad, we could turn it like a bit.
Dementia, yes.
But he would have moments of lucidity, and even when he eventually got put into the Alzheimer's dementia ward, which was pretty much a lot ward, and that was only for maybe 4 weeks or something before he passed, and he was only in the home for 8 months, but he was at home with us for 4.5 years before that. And I remember, unbeknownst to us until years later, every single one of us, all the grandchildren, so that's 6 grandchildren, and the 3 daughters, including some of the son-in-laws, and Mum herself, we all found out later is that we all, in 1 week, the week that he passed, or died, Stuart, that everybody had said to him, it's okay. And his whole life mission was about, he had a family of girls, and coming from that old mindset, his job was to protect and look after us, and he did that. And he was concerned what's going to happen to my girls when I'm not here. That was his only concern. And when we all said, well, we're going to be just fine, Dad, you don't need to hang on. Everybody's desires of how they would like to go is different. After the second heart attack, I said, and I wrote up the will and everything, and my sister is my enduring power of attorney, and then Chris, my best friend, is exactly because I live on a family member. Apart from drinking champagne off the back of a boat when you dump my ashes over into Thompson Bay at Rottnest Island, just remember, don't keep me alive on machines. And I literally got the solicitor, I think I said the words like, just turn the fucker off.
You're ready.
Yeah,
when you're there, you're ready.
Like if I'm in that place already, if I'm unconscious to the point of there's no return, just turn the fucker off. And my sister just said, right then, so is that what I just tell everybody in the family, turn the fucker off? And I said, absolutely.
It's a weird one because I really don't know what I would decide when the time comes, because I don't really know how I feel.
Yeah.
But I know my mother wants she wants everything turned off, and she wants voluntary euthanasia. She wants to choose when she gets to die. But even if she does that, I don't want her to do that. And I know it's not my choice.
No, that's it.
But coming from a family member, I would rather keep her alive for as long as I possibly could.
Propped up.
Propped up.
Now, if your mother was someone like Stuart who felt that way, then you could honour that. But I think you have to listen to the person, what they want. You have to.
Well,
respect
I know that, but it's really tricky, isn't it? So you have to. Well, it's a personal choice.
It is a personal
choice. But
I think it's also that you would be delaying the inevitable pain of releasing that person in your life.
Yeah.
It's just delay all tactics.
Just look at Dad, and we all felt like probably there was a number of times before he did actually go that we all felt that probably he had enough and he should have let go, but didn't for whatever reasons. He was a very robust person and very strong. And then I thought, okay, are we keeping him here? I don't know, Stuart, what do you think about all that?
Well,
holding on tightly.
What I'm thinking about at the moment is my brother in Sydney. And he alternates between wanting to go and wanting to stay.
How old is he?
2 years younger than me. And, it is end stage kidney disease. His liver's gone, his immune system's backed up. So basically I'm living in dread of Mother's Day.
Oh, yes.
Which is only a week and a half.
I see. Are you living in dread?
Yeah.
The celebratory mode around special
is this your will that you
So-
want all these occasions on a special day?
No, it's just...
Because he has this. So, okay, I just want to clarify here, Stuart. You don't believe in life after death. You think that's it. That's death is the end.
Well,
But you're superstitious.
I'm just aware of coincidences and wondering.
Sounds more like
Patterns.
superstition.
You notice. He's wishing that it doesn't. If it
Yeah.
I don't kill spiders. I don't
love
walk under
spiders.
ladders.
See, my mother was like that. She was like
and
superstitious.
also-
Sorry, I just want to finish this conversation between superstition and the life after death story.
And then we
So
can get
okay,
onto
so I
suicide.
totally believe in life after death, that we go on to exist after this physical body.
Yeah.
But I'm not superstitious in any way, shape or form.
Is faith a comfort or avoidance? Is superstition a comfort
No.
or
My issue with religion is because people I don't care what religion you are, all religion, no religion. But if you're using it as an excuse not to do life, not to take responsibility for your choices, that's a deeper concern, because then you're handing over responsibility. But there's plenty of people use drugs for that as well. People use all kinds of different sort of escapism, right? Will we sit and watch TV over and over again? But there's so many. Will we write all day like I do, like a crazy person? So there's plenty of ways that we can escape responsibility. That's not what I'm saying. But there's something very interesting to me of that. Well, I don't believe in life after death, but I'm going to make my turtle tails face the door. There's something in that needs to be explored further, Stuart.
decorating your house for you right now, not decorating your house right now for the buyer that's going to buy it after you.
Well, I've lived in my house for over 40 years.
Yeah.
They're going to take me out of there in a box.
That's it.
Feet first.
So that's what I'm saying. You decorate your life for your life.
My whole community's here. So why would I
that's
do that? And it's taken me 30 years to get it to what I want it to be anyway. But going back to that question of euthanasia.
It's a choice for them. We have voluntary euthanasia should be available to anyone who wants it, particularly in end of life anyway kind of situations. It's the most obvious. Yeah. It's funny though. I have a different view of suicide versus voluntary euthanasia. Although they're both the same thing, they are. But there are so many different kinds of suicide. And for me, voluntary euthanasia is one kind of ending your own life. I understand mental health issues and how
that
severe depression can lead you to see no other way out. And I have great sympathy for that position. I have some empathy for that situation. But I think that there are treatments, there are ways you can deal with it, there are ways to manage that.
Well, I'll just tell you a very personal story. My brother actually took his own life at 17 years of age. And I had it explained to me, and it was devastating. The insight that I was given about that was he had left the planet before he did that.
So not in his right mind.
He didn't know what he was doing.
No.
He didn't. And a lot of young people, and that's probably why you've made that assessment, that actually a lot of young people don't know that it's a final.
When I was working in that area with young people, there were a number of occasions where there was a spate of suicides in the community and it was as if when the first person killed themselves, there was a funeral and they were the centre of attention and everybody said nice things about them and other people who other kids felt the only way to get validation was to do that.
So you felt like there was a bit of copycat
and
stuff
so there
going
was,
on.
yes, and there would be 2 or 3 would follow one.
Because younger people just don't have that emotional maturity yet to make those decisions.
And so this is why it was so important to have post-suicide intervention in communities, which was something that the government were trying to support at that time. And when there was a suicide, there would be this intervention then in the community to try and make sure that it wasn't repeated.
It was a similar situation for my brother, and someone he idolised was Kurt Cobain.
In those dark moments of, just let me go home, this is enough already, where you can no longer see value in living this way. And for me, the same grace was meeting certain specialists that helped me navigate my way through pain management and then NDIS, getting help from NDIS and all that sort of thing, where I can live a fairly, well, here we are doing podcasting, a functional life again. But for many years, for a good 10 years, it was pretty much a horror story. And I'm a positive, optimistic person and I know that suicide is not a way out. But I still had those darker moments, those thoughts. Felt like the only solution. I couldn't see any way out of it. But of course, I now know, here I am, I think that was in probably 2015 was the last time I nearly died and had thoughts about that. I'll be, yep, I'm out of here, I'm happy to go. But since then, and since bouncing back from that, and that's when things started changing. That's when I got the right people in my life that could help me navigate this terrain. And I think, thank God. And I often think about that with people who do actually commit suicide and don't have that grace of being able to come back and revisit how could I have done it differently.
Yeah. I think it's probably a good thing that people can feel that they can talk about it now. That's not something that's always been. Suicide was always the
big taboo.
Big taboo. Today, the front page of the local newspaper here in Western Australia is a footballer who talks about how close he came to suicide several times, and his story is featured, really to bring forward that message about talk to somebody, get help. Find the right people to help you.
It's interesting that would be front page.
It was front page headlines.
And sometimes just going back to that, asking for, I searched for help and searched for answers and searched for how can I live better? How can I, if I can work on the health issues, then I can live better. When you keep hitting roadblocks, I don't know, maybe there's a bit of a reckoning in there where you eventually, in that kind of my story, where you have to accept this is your new life. You have to pivot and find, what. But I think that the tool that I had from the beginning, even though I lost it for a while, was the ability to be positive, but I got that from the family I grew up in and the life I had already lived. I was an optimist, I was positive because of the life I lived. I can't even imagine for someone who perhaps has had roadblock after roadblock, or not come from a good family, or not come from a good story.
Or grown up with trauma.
I grew up with trauma too, but it didn't have the impact on me, I think, where I've seen with other friends, because I was surrounded by good people every day of my life. And that made a difference. So I do wonder with the people who do not have that, I do have some compassion for understanding. I don't think it's the right answer, but I do have compassion and understanding for, I can understand why you thought there was no other option. I'm not saying in any way, shape or form it's the right choice, but I understand how you can get to that place. Yeah.
This might be one to close on.
Okay.
It's eternal in both directions.
Nice.
Eternal is a long, long way. Eternal is a long time far away. It's a long time before and a long time after. And then again, it's a long time now. More. Eternal is a long, long way, but it's a long way past our concept of long way. It's forever and ever. No such thing as never. Eternal is a long time. But there's no finite times outside of time. The backdrop to this flash in the pan existence we call life. Life. Which is all that we have.
Thank you for bringing this amazing topic to the table. I think we've all dived in, and it's been quite an incredible journey.
Thank you for the opportunity to do it. I love talking to you guys. It's
Well,
it's great to be listened to. Honestly, that's something that I appreciate from what you do.
Yeah.
And also to be stimulated, to think freely and range widely in my thoughts.
I hope that's what we do.
Thank you.
And thank you for having the long conversation.
Yeah, that's
this
it.
Is what we
long for, the long conversations, really.
Yes.
And last time you brought in the drawings, and this time you brought in your writings. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Because I got to see text sides of your creative side.
Yes, thanks.
So I think you're... Look.
Yes, you've got one of my drawings up on the wall
now.
was
Just
so
to let you all know before we sign off, after last time Stuart was with us, and I don't know whether you got to watch it inside or not.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Did you see I cut all the drawings in?
Yes.
And I messed with them a bit. I hope you don't mind.
That's fine.
But I like them so much anyway. And then I don't. Was it you that brought them in?
It came in the mail.
Came in the mail.
Remember,
my brain can't remember all these things
remember
anymore.
getting things in the mail?
I know, that's why I have to
Yeah.
remember it. It's like, that doesn't really happen anymore, does it?
other than bills.
Yeah.
Other than bills. But yeah, no, I did. And what Stuart sent me was that drawing up there, which we can't really see, but I will take a photo of it and I will put it on the bottom of the screen when I edit. And I appreciated that. That touched my heart.
Well, you're so complimentary of the drawings. And to me,
because
they're just doodles, but...
Yeah, that was precisely why I was invested in it. Like I was saying to Geraldine, okay, it's not normally the sort of... But because you called them doodles, but they were so precise in many ways, and if there was a sign of unconscious planning going on, it was coming through your hand. And so once again, I have to say... automatic writing, where does that come from? Does it come from consciousness? And so that's why those drawings didn't just appeal on a visual manner, but because of the concept behind them.
All of these things that I've read today, that's exactly as it was written when it was written.
Oh, okay.
So there was no editing.
Yeah.
They just went straight down on the page while the band were playing.
Yeah.
Someone gave me a time and I wrote.
Yeah.
And it surprises me. It is automatic, but it comes round on itself. Like for it to end with when life itself is so terminal. I didn't know that's where I was going to end up when I started writing that.
No.
Very
It just
well-rounded.
flowed that way
Yeah.
and ended up there.
But I think that's my argument with you last time about, no, I think you could call yourself a creative if you're not comfortable calling
Wow.
yourself as an artist. I think we've pretty much got that one locked away
Yeah.
because I think that's quite normal when you talk to creators or artists or of any kind or inventors, any kind of creative. This is a common thing.
They surprise themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, where did it come from? I don't know where it came from, it just came.
Yeah.
It's an immersive process.
Yeah.
And actually, Stuart did write the Tenderhooks.
Oh yes.
And as soon as I heard that, I had to put it to a song. So I've actually put one of his song on.
Oh, okay, so
song.
we now need to hear that,
I'll play it
Geraldine.
and I'll send that in.
Yeah.
Tenderhooks or tenterhooks, which I love the play on those.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. You need to send that in.
Yeah, I haven't
You need to-
recorded it, but yeah.
You need to film it and send it to
I
me,
think
and I'll
we discussed
include it
this
in
last
this
time,
episode.
didn't we?
Yeah.
But this
I
time
think
she's
I
gonna
mentioned
do it.
Yeah, no, we
This time I'm
discussed
going to
this last
annoy her
time.
She's
until
always
she
pushing me
provides
to
it.
do it.
So I will,
Yeah.
because don't forget, I'm caught up with my editing
But
now.
I'm mentioning that
Alright.
because yeah,
You can't wait till
very-
next week to send it to me. You have
Stuart's
to
very
send it
humble about his
beginning.
words. I feel very humble about my music.
Thank you, Stuart, for coming.
And for
Thank
your
you for having
patience.
me. Yes, I think I still live in hope.
And see you next time.
Over and out.
Not eternally.
Alright.